Hi everyone. So, November did something unexpected to me. I went in thinking I would watch a few casual movies, maybe relax a little, but instead, November handed me movies that made me think. Some of it made me cry, some made me smile, and a lot other things. So, today, I'm talking about all the films I watched this month and not just what they did and what they are, but why they stayed with me. So, I'll start with Idli Kadhai, released in 2025 and directed by Dhanush. You know, Idli Kadhai isn't just a film, it's a reminder of how life quietly rearranges our dreams. Directed by Dhanush himself, the movie follows this little village boy who thinks the world is far, huge, and somewhere beyond his reach. And just when he finally steps out to chase his dream in a different land, his father passes away. Suddenly, life pushes him back to the very place he once wanted to run away from, his father's tiny little idli shop. What I absolutely loved in this movie is how the shop becomes his healer. A quiet kitchen, soft idli steam, those slow mornings, they don't just feed the village, they rebuild him. They teach him that ambition isn't always about leaving. Sometimes it's about returning and rediscovering your own story. This movie is perfect for anyone who has ever left home chasing something bigger, only to realize home was the biggest thing all along. The second one is going to be Amara. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. Directed by Rajkumar Periyasamy and released in 2024. Well, this is not a war film, rather, it's a film about what war does to people. Director tells Major Mukund's story with this raw honesty that hits you quite deeply. Shiva Karthikeyan gives one of his most grounded performances. He's not trying to be a hero here, he's just trying to be a human. And Sai Pallavi, honestly, she is extraordinary in this movie. I just loved the way her character presented the pause, the simplicity which was very much required in her character. The part that moved me most was how the film shows that once a man becomes a soldier, the entire family becomes an army family. The fears, the sacrifices, the waiting, the emotional storms that never get spoken about, the film honors all of it. The third one is going to be Mona Lisa Smile. Well, this is quite an old movie released in 2003, directed by Mike Neville. I rewatched this movie this November and it created a ripple of emotions inside me. Julia Roberts plays a professor who doesn't teach art. She teaches freedom. She doesn't scream rebellion. She doesn't wave feminism like a banner. She simply nudges her students to look beyond society's expectations and choose what they want. Even with criticism, opposition, and misunderstanding, she holds her ground quite firmly because she believes education should open minds, not control them. One thing I absolutely love is how every painting shown in the film mirrors the emotional arcs of the students. Art becomes therapy, art becomes rebellion, art becomes a conversation about becoming yourself. And this is a perfect movie for anyone who ever had a teacher who changed something deep inside them. Let's talk about that teacher in the comment section then. The fourth movie is Graves of the Fireflies, released in 1988 and directed by Isao Takahata. This movie is an absolute watch for anybody who just loves movies. Isao Takahata's Grave of the Fireflies follows a brother and a sister trying to survive war, and it is one of the most heartbreaking depictions of loss ever created. They lose their home, they lose their safety. At one point, They're living inside a cave because life gives them no other options. War doesn't choose who to spare. It simply takes and takes and takes. The fireflies, beautiful, fragile, glowing for a moment, become a symbol of childhood, of innocence, of things that don't last. And when the sister dies and later the brother, the silence hits harder than any dialogue could. The next one in the lot is Johnny LLB 3, released in 2025 and directed by Subhash Kapoor. Well, this might look like a courtroom comedy, but it's actually a mirror, reflecting corruption hidden in everyday corners of our society, the society in which we live in. The director brings back Akshay Kumar and Arshad Warsi, and watching them together feels like watching two ideologies collide. One very loud and one quite subtle, but both very, very sharp. What I appreciate is that the film never yells its message. It uses soft humor like a tiny needle that pokes you until you're forced to look at what's wrong. And the courtroom scenes show a harsh reality. People are just trying to survive inside a system never built for them. The next one is another movie which was quite hyped, and it was high time I watched it. It's The Materialists, released in 2024, starring Dakota Johnson. The Materialists is one of those films that perfectly reflect the chaos of modern relationships. But also, in my opinion, it's a little overrated. The interesting thing is that the characters jump from one emotional connection to another. And while, yes, this mirrors today's swipe right culture, but it also made their relationship a bit too fluid, too quick, almost like nobody pauses long enough to truly understand what they want. But the movie is honest about one thing. In a world obsessed with choices, stability itself becomes a luxury. And that's what the film tries to explore. The modern fear of settling, the constant hunger for something better, and the emotional exhaustion that follows. What I appreciate is how the film reveals the cost of chasing perfection. Every time the protagonist switches direction, you and we both can feel the thrill and the emptiness. Like she's running after a version of happiness that keeps shifting. Another movie which I absolutely loved rewatching again this November was Onuranun. This Bengali movie is directed by Aniruddha Roy Choudhury, starring Rahul Bose, Rituparna Sengupta and Raima Sen. Onuranun, the title literally means resonance, and the film lives up to that name. It's all about how small emotional vibrations between people echo and change their entire lives. Directed by Aniruddha Roy Choudhury, this quiet Bengali drama follows two married couples whose friendship at a hill station slowly turns complicated when an unexpected bond develops between Rahul and Raima Sen. What makes this film linger is its use of space and silence. The Kanchenjunga mountains almost act as a third character in this film, watching and responding to the characters' unspoken longings. And the story deliberately lets rumors and misunderstandings do the dramatic work rather than melodrama. This movie is an absolute watch for anybody who prefers films that simmer instead of explode, lovers of slow burn emotional dramas, and stories that trust the audience to feel the resonance. So this is it. That's everything that I have watched. Films that made me think, films that broke me, films that stitched me back a little. November turned out to be more emotional than I expected, but honestly, I loved every moment of it. Do let me know which one of these you have seen, and what are the other movies that you have seen in November. Let's talk and chat in the comment section, and definitely recommend me some more movies for December. Until then, keep watching, keep feeling, and take care.